The Merlo Multifarmer. Now, it's been around some years, but this is the latest version, which is the MF449. So 4.4 ton, 9 meter reach, and it's the 170 CV-tronic. So 170 horsepower, it's got the CV-tronic transmission. Now, this particular model has got the full cab suspension, boom suspension, it's got the rear facing camera, and because it's a multi-farmer, it's fitted with a 3-point linkage. This 3-point linkage is not something that's just bolted onto the back of a telehandler. The multi-farmer has its own chassis. So from the front right through to here, this is all one part. It's not something that's just bolted and sandwiched up onto the back of a normal telehandler. It's got a good lift capacity, pickup hitch. As I said, it's got this camera here, so you can see directly on the hitch. You can also see directly on the arms here. To be honest, the view out of the back for a telehandler is incredible. You can see right down that corner, you can see all this. Yeah, it's just amazing really how they've got so much vision by keeping this back end so low. Now, the Merlo Multifarmer was a very forward-thinking design, but personally I think it's always been misrepresented by the media and potential customers. Let's start right at the beginning. It's a telehandler, first and foremost. And over the years, it's been purported to be half tractor, half telehandler, or a tractor with a telehandler boom. It's not. So where exactly does the Merlo Multifarmer give you that advantage over every other telehandler? To be honest, it's quite simple. If you've got a small to medium livestock unit, or even on a big unit, the telehandler is your bread and butter. It's what most of your operations revolves around. But there are times where you also need a tractor. Now, on a bigger unit where they've got arable as well, there are often tractors about. So that's not so much of a problem. But on a smaller unit, another tractor is another expense, just another cost. But most of the time, that tractor is just sat there in the shed. That's dead money. So what about if you could do all your work with your cattle or whatever, your livestock in the morning, and then go and hook your telehandler onto a mower or a rake and carry on. The point is, you don't need such an expensive tractor sat there in that shed, because the vast majority of your tasks you can do with the multi-farmer. But let's be honest, it's still nice to have an extra tractor there just as a backup. But the thing is, it doesn't need to be such a high outlay, does it? It doesn't have to be quite so new. It can just be a reliable older tractor in the shed. That's not so much of a problem, because at the end of the day, the difference between the older tractor and the newer tractor is in your pocket. Now, once I was told that I've got a multi-farmer for a while, and it's got a linkage obviously, there was one thing I wanted to do with it that I'm sure most of you wanted to do and see as well, which is put a plough on it. I'm not saying this is a ploughing tractor. It's not. As I said, it's a telehandler. Don't forget, it's a telehandler. But it has the capability I had to have a go, didn't I? Now, I know you wouldn't buy one of those primarily for ploughing, but I want to see it, and I'm sure most of you did as well. So there we go, the Merlo Multifarmer with a plough. Now, on a large arable unit, you think about it. He's ploughing, he's drilling, and he goes into the next field. He wants to now do the headlands and pull them down so he can drill them and finish them up, but they'll just carry on and carry on. Then he's got to unhook everything and come back, then go around, pull all the headlands in, and he'll come back and don't need to. He can be doing that. He can carry on ploughing, all right? He can carry on drilling. You bring your seed up on your trailer with your Merlo Multifarmer, and while you're sitting there with your seed on the trailer, you can hook a cultivator on this and pull all your headlands in. The only thing that's restricting the multi-farmer is your imagination. There's so much you can do with it. And as I said, it's not just about, well, buying one and then finding a job for it. As I said before, the whole point of the multi-farmer is it just gives you that extra bit of capacity. But for a livestock farm, that could be tens of thousands of pounds back in your pocket. Like I was saying, the other great thing about this is that screenlet. It's all integrated. You haven't got a separate reversing camera. So that camera we looked at on the back, it's all there. Now obviously at the moment I've got it down so it's looking at that hitch, because that's what I was talking about, is hooking onto trailers. Flick it in the forward, off it goes. You're back onto your load monitor screen, which is very clear and easy to see. As you can see, if I go in and really, there we go. I've got how much percentage I got in the bucket there with full capacity there, so I can just break out, and I've got that bucket is absolutely heaped. So, as a telehandler, I mean, this is right up there, mainly because of the power, you know, and just the vision. I think they're the things I really like the most. Just pushing at this age. It's such a joy to have something with so much grunt and grip. And don't forget, we're on those more sort of road type tyres, the ones that are half, you know, half ag, half industrial. And even then, it just wants to push. And that system there on the back of the bucket is where that back plate touches, and that sensor picks up and then feeds the information back to the screen, so it knows it's got a genuine Merlo bucket on, and it can then give you the exact load chart up on the screen for this attachment. The cab suspension alone is brilliant, and it would really take a lot of fatigue out, especially if you're running in between units up and down the road. How we've got it set now is that the cab suspension is off. It's down on the mounts like any normal telehandler, and the boom suspension is also off. So let's just give it a go. So all I've got is the seat suspension. That's a bump. And what I'm going to try and sit at is about 30k. There we are, 30k. So this, as I said, is with no boom or cab suspension. At the end of a long day, you'd be kind of fed up with it. Right, so the second run, we'll stick the cab suspension on. So I'm now going to do now. I'll stick the boom suspension on. Right, coming in the top here, we know we've got that big bang coming up, which we know. There it is, but nowhere as harsh as it was previously. I hardly felt it, I just heard it. I didn't feel it, I just heard it. 30k, like we said before. Into the next run. All those shocks and bangs just being absorbed. Once you've driven a telehandler with cab suspension, I don't just mean rubber blocks or a mounting or something, I mean this is a fully suspended cab. If you turn it off, it drops. As soon as you turn it on, it raises up. This is on its own little platform. You know what, go back to a conventional one. It's really worth thinking. It's worth thinking outside the box, you know, because this is different. This is not what we're used to. And as I say, I just think in the past, the old multi-farmer has been misaligned and misrepresented in what it is capable and what its potential uses are. And as I said, first and foremost, it is a telehandler, a very, very high spec and very capable telehandler. And it's got the additional ability of that 3-point linkage and PTO, all the spools and services, all on there as well, all on the back. And that cab, yeah, once you're in that, you don't really want to get out much. Now, I could give you lots of specs and facts and flow rates and blah, 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 but I'm not here as a walking, talking brochure. You can get all that and accurately online. But better than that, contact your local Merlo dealer. Better than that, get them to bring you one out, as I said, because I really think you'll be surprised. Now, the other good thing, obviously, is, yeah, plenty of room for the dog, both here, but up the back there. So if you've got a companion like that, tons of room. You like that on your dog? You do. So there we go. We'll catch you on the next one. Do well.